You're listening to the VTZone.com's weekly Scoutcast. Everything Hokies. And now here's publisher Jason Stamm.
Welcome to another edition of the VTZone.com's weekly Scoutcast. I'm publisher Jason Stamm. We're in that little time between Christmas and New Year's, so we're kind of, I don't know if it's always one of those, we're in the middle of bowl season, we've got plenty of college basketball going, NFL's kind of winding down. We're without our man Doug Bowman this week, so Derrick, Skip, Hopkins, and I are going to have to kind of at least try to keep it going. Skip, how is everything going with you?
I'm doing pretty good. Getting over some sickness, not sickness like illness, but I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
The only thing here I think we were talking about when we started is lots of poopy diapers and fussiness coming from the Stamm house right now. So we'll see if that hopefully gets a little better. And he's been pretty good. Chet's been pretty good. But, we have some fussiness and stuff. But Skip, how was your Christmas, buddy?
It was interesting. I woke up on Christmas morning and I couldn't go to bed, and I was feeling terrible. So basically, I slept all day, and I got some needed rest, I guess I can say. But other than that, my wife took care of me, and I just slept all day. That was my Christmas. Man,
that was your Christmas present, I guess, was just
some rest. Yep, some rest.
It's not a bad thing, though, man. It's not every day you get to just lay around and get some rest. It's not.
I missed all the food,
Yeah.
You all be at your grandparents' house and parents' house, and you all the good food. I eat good normally, but it's nothing like grandma and mama cooking.
So the Hopkins family does a big dinner on Christmas.
Yeah, we go with my grandparents' house. Both sets are still living, so we go to each one and go to my parents' house. So I eat about 4 or 5 times.
Man, you missed out on all that?
I missed out on all that, man.
It's a terrible Christmas.
Hey, the only good thing is I got some rest, but I missed out on all my stops. So.
Well, Skip, I'm glad to hear you're on the mend, buddy, at least. Hopefully you can be good by New Year's so you can ring in the new year with the missus right.
So, yeah, I'll be good by New Year's. I got to make up for it.
Do you all do it big on New Year's, or you just kind of chill at home and watch the ball drop?
We don't go to church.
Okay.
But since it's on a Sunday, my church is doing it's just be regular service on the Sunday. So I'm not sure what we're doing tonight.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what we're doing on that night, but we'll see.
Well, I figure, the missus and I have traveled quite a bit for Christmas, New Year's, and we also went to Dallas and Shreveport for the Independence Bowl last year. But with Little Jet here this year, I'm guessing we'll probably just be sitting at home watching Carson Daly and the ball drop. So really exciting stuff going on here. But I'll be down in Charlotte here this week for the Belk Bowl. I guess, Skip, let's start off with that, man. We've been Doug and I have previewed it and talked about it a little bit, kind of back, when we first knew the matchup a few weeks ago, when we first knew they were going to be playing Arkansas. But when you kind of look at this game, what stands out to you about this game? Or, the opponent, or just overall?
Overall, it looks like a good game. I'm not sure Arkansas. I'm not really aware of what their record is or their scheme, whatever that stuff is. But when you play a team from that league, it's always a good opponent. So looking forward to it, and the guys are like they're having fun down in the bowl game. So I'm sure they'll be ready to play.
Now, we'll say before we get into the really specifics here with the bowl, I don't know how many of everybody who's listening saw it, but on Monday, the team got to go out to Charlotte Motor Speedway. I think they took at least 3 laps around the track at about 160 miles an hour. So pretty cool experience. So it kind of got me thinking, in all your time at Virginia Tech, you guys win a bowl every year. What was the coolest thing you guys did in bowl prep, or going to whatever bowl you went to?
The coolest thing Yeah, we had the one year we was in Miami or Fort Lauderdale. What else? It was the Orange Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
We went jet skiing, so I had the jet skis out, and everybody was on the beach. You know, you had all you can eat food. You can eat, and you can jet ski. You can do. I think you have some other stuff you can do too, but I think that was the coolest one, the jet skis.
Had you ever been on a jet ski before, or was that your first time?
Nah, that was my first time. It was probably my last time, but and I'm not really a jet ski guy, especially on open in the ocean. You know, you fall off one of those things, you might be floating. You keep on going. So if you like on a lake or something like that, that's more reasonable because it's where the bottom is at. But the ocean is like you can be going for miles and not come back. So
well, and it's unless you're right up on the shore, you're not going to be seeing bottom. I mean, that thing's a few 100 feet deep in some spots. Yeah.
So I doubt I'll be on a jet ski in the ocean anytime soon.
But the food spread was good though, right?
Yeah, the food spread was good. They had everything. You had burgers, you had chicken, you had all kinds of stuff. But yeah, the spread was good.
Now, we were talking about Christmas though, Skip, and I know, your first couple of years, you guys were in some pretty good bowls. You mentioned Orange Bowl, Sugar Bowl, but I know those are more closer to New Year's. I don't know if you all miss Christmas, but was there ever a time you guys missed Christmas? Like where you actually had to spend it wherever?
I think we missed it like twice, I think.
Okay.
But those times are always like when you go to we went to the Orange Bowl, it was like the singers was we Christmas at home. So that was our saying going into ACC championship game and the last couple of games. You want Christmas at home. So that's why we had to win out and win the ACC championship. So we can play in the Orange Bowl, and we knew we was gonna have Christmas at home. But it's kind of when we don't, it's kind of sad. You don't see your family. You don't get the Christmas experience per se. But you play football, so you also doing something that you love, and also you're doing something that you want to do. So it's like a lose. It's like a win lose because you playing football, you're winning, but you lose, but not seeing your family. So.
Man, you kind of taking the wind out of that one. I mean, I thought maybe it'd be kind of cool to be off with everybody for Christmas, but it's kind of depressing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not depressing, but you with the same people all year round.
Yeah,
you miss your family, and everyone else is on winter break. Everyone else is gone. Everyone else is chilling with the family. You love the guys you're playing with and stuff, but I see y'all all year round. I want to see my family on Christmas or people like see the wives or see the girlfriends or the case may be.
Did it help being with Antoine though?
It did, but there's nothing like mom and daddy and grandparents and stuff like that also. So
right.
I see my brother all the time. He's like, okay, I see you all year round. I see you just as much as I see everybody else. Tired of seeing you too. I want to see some other things. So, but it's a win lose because you get to travel to a different place. You get to get out of the cold, or not maybe not this year because we're in the Elmo, but so you got you play in the Orange Bowl, you play somewhere like Orlando or something, and then you get to the warm weather, you get to have fun and get to the pool, stuff like that. But it's always nice to be home for Christmas. So.
Well, we'll say, you mentioned it is in Charlotte, and, now that's not warm. Of course, it's been warm here, I guess this week. It's kind of hard to believe it's after Christmas. It's 50 degrees or 60 degrees, 60s in some spots. But playing in Charlotte, you're only a couple hours from home or from Blacksburg. There's going to be a ton of Hokies fans there. How much of an advantage, or is that an advantage, do you think, for Virginia Tech playing that close to home?
It's definitely an advantage because all the fans are going to be there. It should be, mostly Hokie dominated. Since it's so close to Virginia Tech and it's on the East Coast, and most people on the East Coast and up in Virginia, North Carolina, it's going to be Virginia Tech based. So it should be a big advantage, but we still got to come on and play and, play to win. So.
Yeah, I'm expecting. If I had to say, I would guess like I'd say 3/4 that stadium is going to be maroon and orange.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's going to be pretty obvious. But as far as the game itself, Skip, I mean, I don't know how much you've looked at Arkansas. I mean, they've been pretty up and down. This is a team that they've had a couple of games that were kind of low scoring, but for the most part, they scored a lot of points. I mean, they got held in check by Auburn and LSU, but you're talking about they scored 30 points on Alabama. They put up 31 on Florida, 58 against Mississippi State, 52 against Alcorn. They put up a lot of points. So at least and we'll get to like the picks, our staff picks and stuff. But I think this is going to be a pretty high scoring game. I'm thinking like 30s, high 30s, maybe low 40s.
I'm hoping that being a defensive guy, I'm hoping it's not that high. Hoping the offensive defense, kind of holds them off. But when you play in SEC school, it doesn't matter their record. It doesn't matter how they did against other SEC schools, because that conference is loaded with talent, a lot of skill, a lot of great coaches. So you got to be prepared for them to come out and play their best football. Especially against Virginia Tech, we tend to get everybody's best shot, so we got to come out and play and not turn the ball over and not have a lot of turnovers. And if we do that, I think we'll be fine. We got to keep the offense on the field, defense off the field, and then we'll be good.
Well, and with Arkansas, we talked about the points, but they've got a really good quarterback and running back that have put up. I know they're both in the top 25 in the country in yardage, but you got Austin Allen at quarterback, Raleigh Williams at running back. If you're Virginia Tech, it's Bud Foster's going to come prepared, obviously, for this offense. So it's not saying he's not, but if you're Virginia Tech's defense, do you key in on one, or do you have to kind of keep an eye on both when you've got that good of a running back and that good of a quarterback?
You just got to play your system. It's like, if you have a dynamic wide receiver, then you can maybe play over top or something like that. But when you got a running back and a quarterback that's pretty playing good, you just got to play your system. And you might put an extra guy in the box, you might not. But I think you just got to play what we do best. That's all. I don't think it's no need to change up anything. We just don't need to do anything different. We just make a couple adjustments and play football. It's up to the guys on the field to make plays and make tackles. So you can game plan all you want. You can strategize and all stuff like that. But it's all up to the guys on the field. Coaching can do so much, but the guys on the field have to make the plays, have to read the keys and make the tackles. So I know Coach Foster's going to be ready. The defense is going to be ready. But it's up to the guys on the field to make the plays.
Austin Allen is their quarterback. He's got 3,152 yards, 23 touchdowns. I mentioned Raleigh Williams. He's run for 1,326. When you played, Skip, is there anybody you can think of that really, or that comes to mind that really you went up against a good, 1-2 punch like that before?
1-2 punch? I'm not sure. When UNC had a good 1-2 punch. I think the running back was, I don't know, was Bernard? Was his name Bernard? Running back for UNC. He went to the league.
Really Bernard. Yeah.
Yeah, he was really good. I'm not sure who the quarterback was at the time. But he ran for like 200 yards on this. So he had a pretty good game against us. But I'm not sure about a 1-2 punch. We played against a lot of good quarterbacks and good running backs. But the guy from UNC was probably the best running back we played against. Especially with the O-line they had. We never gave up 200 yards by just one person, besides like Georgia Tech. But he ran for like 282 yards on us with like a couple touchdowns. So besides him, I'm not really sure who else will be that top back like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, I was at that game when Giovanni Bernard had that big game. I can't remember. I'm trying to think who that quarterback was too, Skip. I can't remember who it was. It was somebody that was it Marcus Williams?
I'm not sure if it was Williams. Or was it like Yates or something like that?
It could have been Yates. I don't remember.
I think it might have been Yates. I'm not sure.
Well, they had a few. Carolina's always had some decent quarterbacks. I don't know if they've ever had any bad ones, so that might be a pretty good analogy. But one of the things I'm always curious to see in these kind of games, Skip, is they've been. Obviously, it's not going to affect Virginia Tech quite as bad because they did play in the ACC championship. But this is the one time in the season where you've got. I mean, for some teams, it's like a 6-week layoff in between games. I mean, I guess Virginia Tech will be, like 3.5 weeks, so it's not terrible. But what does that layoff kind of do? I mean, does it take a while to get back into things, or is it do we make too much of it? I mean, is it really that big of a deal when you take that much time off?
It's not that big of a deal, honestly. I mean, the biggest thing is, you haven't played the game in 6 weeks, so the biggest adjustment is going to be when you start playing the game, you get your wind up, and that first quarter is going to be, once you get to that second win, it's like, okay, I'm good now. But I mean, you stay in the swing of it because you practice so much, and you're still practicing on those 3 to 6 weeks. You're still practicing almost every day. Not as hard, not as much as you would normally, but you're still practicing. Some guys scrimmage, especially like the young guys, will have like a scrimmage or whatever. But you're still practicing. When I played, we were still hitting and we were still doing middle drill. But I think with the new coaching there, I think they kind of changed up a little bit. But I know when I played, we'll scrimmage and we'll do middle drill and we'll do all kind of stuff to stay active and stay, game ready. But it's not that big of a deal, honestly. It's just you gotta prepare mentally, watch film, and get your mind right first before you can actually get ready for the game. So.
Well, and again, I think it may not be as big of a deal in this case because they did play in the ACC championship, and you get back to practice. It's not like you're not doing anything, but I know it's. I always remember like when the Big Ten, before they had their championship game, they would always end the season like a week before everybody else did. It's always amazing to have that big of a layoff in between games. But it will be interesting for sure, though, to see just how. It really just how the layoff affects all these teams, and Arkansas notwithstanding, I mean, they're obviously not going to have as much layoff as Virginia Tech. So that will be interesting to see how they come out and play in that game. But Skip, I know like the rest of us will kind of get to some picks later in the week. But have you thought about your prediction of the game?
Well, I haven't really thought about that much. I'm still, I'm going for Tech, so I got the Hokies winning, but I'm not sure the spread or how much they'll win by or anything like that.
It sounds like earlier from when we were talking, you don't think it's going to be like the ACC championship game and like high scoring like that.
Nah, it could be. I just hope not. I just hope it's a 17-10 game, and if it's a low scoring game, I can still come away with it. If it's a high scoring game, that's not really good for us. That's not really what we do best. Having to get a stop at the end. Having to, go down and score at the end. I mean, we can do it, but 9 times out of 10, we want to, come out and, hold them to maybe 10, 17 points. And if we get around 20, 28, we'll be good. But if it's a 42 to 45, if it's 42-45 and we need to stop maybe the score or whatever, vice versa, I think it's not really in our favor at that time.
Well, and Arkansas, we've seen them be really inconsistent. This could definitely be one of those kind of games where they are very inconsistent and can't do anything that we think they can. on offense, because we've seen them do both. But, you know, I feel like when they get those points, they get them going, and they definitely have the horses to do it with, or the hogs, I guess, in this case, to do it with. So it will be interesting to see. But, yeah, let's change it up a little bit, because we do have, you know, one more game of football for this season, but we're also in the middle of plenty of recruiting. And I'll be honest, you know, I know you're not the big recruiting guy, but I feel like this is one of the few times where, you know, you can kind of help us weigh in on some of this stuff. I'm not sure if you saw it, but your guy, Mekhi Becton, put out a top 5 on Christmas Day. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see it. He has, you know, Virginia Tech, Michigan State, and one other team in there. Those are, you know, the top 5 that, you know, we kind of figured was would be the top 5. You know, it's up to the coaches and, you know, the school, you know, who's recruiting the best, who has the best, you know, who's the best fit for them. So, you know, whoever he picks is, you know, it's going to be, the school's going to be very blessed to have him there. So.
Yeah, Louisville was that 5th school. So
yeah,
those 4 you mentioned in Louisville. Yeah. Just even just the way he's handled the whole thing, Skip. I mean, Mekhi's been a guy who's, I mean, he's been right in the middle of recruiting for a while now. So what have you seen from him? Do you feel like he's kind of gotten even more mature as kind of the season's gone on, and kind of the way he's handled the whole thing?
Oh yeah, I mean, he has a good support system and a good, you know, role models around him to, you know, kind of keep him, you know, not in check, but keep him in the right place. You know, some guys be going out there by themselves and doing all this kind of crazy stuff to either make themselves look good or whatever the case may be. But he has a good support system, and, you know, each year he's grown and matured, and, you know, he's handled everything in the way that, you know, he should have. So I think he's up to like 30 offers now. He's got offers by Oregon. So, you know, he has good people around him and a good support system to make sure he keeps his head on straight and makes the right decisions. So.
Well, and Mekhi's talking about taking his official visit here to Virginia Tech in January on the 20th, January 20th. He'll be in Blacksburg. So, you know, and not even just with Mekhi, Skip, but, you know, we've talked about before how important I feel like it is for Virginia Tech to get guys to come on an official visit. So, you know, how much do you think that, you know, especially at this point in anybody's recruitment, how big of a deal is that to get somebody on campus for an official? How much can that change things?
No, it can change things a whole bunch. You know, to get guys on campus to get experience and hang with some of the fellas and get pretty much an inside depth of what the school's going to be like. But, you know, it's just a fun time. It's just a, you know, time where, you know, especially a player like Mekhi, he can come in and they go wine and dine him and, you know, treat him, you know, like he's the highest thing, you know, the best thing ever. You know, that's what they do. So at any school, they roll out the red carpet for you. So, you know, that's just what official visits are. So, but it's also good to get on campus and experience the campus and see the people and hang out with the players, the coaches on a more in-depth level. So,
well, and we've been tracking quite a few of these guys. That first weekend, they're only going to have 3 full weekends for official visits. And you've got some guys who are going to be taking visits during the week, during that time, just to be able to take visits, just to get them in. But I think it's also pretty good to note, I think we have on here before, but January 15th is also going to be Virginia Tech. They're going to have a junior day. So a pretty big weekend. I mean, that's going to be they've got, you know, official visits guys coming in that weekend. You've got junior day on that Sunday. You've got a basketball game that I know they're going to be taking everybody to on Saturday the 14th with Notre Dame. So pretty big weekend, I think. You know, we're going to be talking about that one. I know a lot going into and after that weekend. A lot of guys that will be coming in and out of Virginia Tech during that weekend. So with basketball, though, Skip, it's been a pretty good basketball start so far. Have you gotten a chance to watch much of basketball to this point?
I haven't. Not the Hokies basketball. I saw the Cavs and Warriors game yesterday. That was a real good game. Talking about basketball, it was a really great atmosphere and great, there's great basketball being played. But no, I haven't seen Hokies play this year.
So you haven't seen much of college basketball?
No, I'm not really a college basketball fan, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm a college football guy, of course. But I'm more of an NBA type of guy.
Okay.
I'm a college basketball fan. I don't know why. I never really got into it.
Well, I will say, I know you're kind of downplaying it, Skip, but it's a pretty big week for Virginia Tech basketball. You got Maryland-Baltimore County on Wednesday night. So that's obviously not the big one I'm talking about.
You got who?
Maryland-Baltimore County, UMBC.
Maryland-Baltimore County. That's a school?
Yep. That's actually where Ace Custis is, who, Jersey retired. He's an assistant on that staff.
That's interesting. Maryland-Baltimore County.
Maryland-Baltimore County.
We playing that?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Custis is at Eastern Shore. I don't know why I said Baltimore County. He's at Maryland Eastern Shore. But still, it's, the big game is New Year's Eve. They've got Duke at noon at home, and they're in the Castle. It's been a sellout announced for a couple weeks now. The first ACC game, and they get Duke. So, in your mind, Skip, how big is this game that they get Duke to start out with?
It's big. I mean, anytime you play Duke in basketball, I mean, they're always the top tier teams in the NCAA. So, whenever you play Duke, it's always a big time game. First for the Hokies, we're trying to brand ourselves and saying we know our program is on the come up. So anytime you play Duke, anytime you play a team like Duke or UNC, that's actually in your conference is always big. And if you beat them, people, oh man, they beat Duke. If you play close with them, oh man, they play close with Duke. So it's always a win-win for us when we play Duke or UNC. Hopefully, it can hopefully, sometime in this year or years to come that it's the reverse where, somebody plays us, they look at us, somebody who's a good team. But us right now is, if we play Duke and we play good, then people will start looking at us as a competitor, a team to beat. So.
Well, even though you said you haven't seen much college basketball, did you at least see the tripping incident from Duke?
Yeah, I did. That was all over TV.
Okay.
I definitely saw that. The guy got suspended and all things like that. So, I did see that. So.
Well, there's obviously a direct impact with Virginia Tech with that, because the next game that Duke has is that game against Virginia Tech. So Grayson Allen is definitely going to miss that game against the Hokies. I mean, even their Duke's backups, I think, could probably start for about anybody else. But to me, a pretty big break. Grayson Allen's, All-American, who now is definitely going to be out that game. I don't know, man. I like Virginia Tech's chances even more with him being out now.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely like their chances when they got their star player out. But I'm still playing Duke, and all those guys are talented and athletic, so then there's always the next guy up mentality. So I'm sure whoever the next guy is up who's taking the place of that guy. He's able to do it and able to play up to Duke's level. So it's still gonna be a challenge, and we have to come out and play big in the paint, don't turn the ball over, and just have fun and play basketball. So even though that guy's out, it's still gonna be a good challenge for us.
Well, and I'm sure that, and this is kind of a side thing, obviously not, this part doesn't really have to with Virginia Tech, but with Grayson Allen, it's the third time he's done it now, Skip. It's not the first time, not the second time. He's tripped somebody 3 times. So what do you do to a guy like that? I mean, should he be able to come back and play, or do you suspend him 6 games? Do you kick him off the team? I don't know. What do you do in that kind of situation?
I mean, he should have got some type of suspension or some type of punishment for the first time he did it, or the second time he did it. He went to the third time, and that gives somebody someone who does something wrong. If you let him get away with it, then he can keep doing it. Then on his third time, you're gonna suspend him for 2 games or whatever the case may be.
So it's indefinite, so I don't know what that means, but definitely a couple games.
Yeah, just suspend him a couple of games on his third time doing it. It's like on his third offense, you're going to suspend him. But his first two was like, it's okay, he's all-star, or whatever the case may be, he's fine. But then this third time, you're going to suspend him. I mean, it's not – if you want to stop somebody from doing something, you punish him or, you kind of, talk to him the first time, not the third time. So I think instead of he should have been some type of punishment after the first 2 times, and not just on the third time. So
yeah, I just think something's wrong if you do it 3 times. I mean, first time you're like, oh, it's bad. Second time you're like, okay, that's it. You're bordering. But the third time, I don't know what you do, man. That's 3 times now. And it's not like Grayson Allen I don't know. I mean, I guess he would be a punk. I was going to say he's not a punk, but I guess if he's going to trip somebody 3 times, that's kind of a punk thing to do. But I don't know. It's just, I don't know what you do with a guy like that. He just doesn't seem to get it because it just keeps happening over and over again. But hey, it may benefit Virginia Tech with him not being out there. So, but we'll have full coverage of that game as we have all the other, definitely every home game this year we'll be at. But we'll have tons of coverage coming from when they play Duke on New Year's Eve. It's a good way to send out 2016, I think, if they can get a big win there. So, Skip, let's wrap it up, buddy. Do you have a shout-out this week?
Oh, man, shout-out to the Cleveland Cavaliers, man, for a good win last night. Coming back from down 14 to beat Golden State. Even Golden State with KD on the team. The Cavs that came away with it. LeBron and Kyrie played big. Kevin Love played big also. So shout out to the Cavs, man.
I've got to shout out all the Virginia Tech football team for going on the ride along at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I got the chance to do that with Bristol, and Bristol itself was pretty awesome. But I can only imagine at Charlotte because we definitely, you can't go 160 miles an hour at Bristol. It's too short. So that had to be just really cool to be sitting in those cars and riding around the track like that. 160 miles an hour. I think, if I remember right, Skip, I think they told me we got up to like 110, maybe 100 miles per hour at Bristol, but it was nothing anywhere close to 160. It's too short. You can't do it at Bristol, but it was really sweet riding around, but it had to be really cool at an open track like Charlotte.
Yeah, going 160, man, pushing that pedal down, baby.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I'm not sure how fast you've gone on the highway, but I've gone at least 100 before. 160. Woo! You flying, baby, you flying.
I haven't driven 100 miles an hour yet, but I've been in the car with somebody who went 100 miles an hour, and that was pretty crazy going 100. So going 160, yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, I guess I've been the fastest I've now been was 110 at Bristol.
Yeah,
but definitely not 160.
You driving down 460 on that big hill? Yes, sir. You hit about 90, you can keep going. Oh, I'm still going. And get that. Oh, yeah. I hit 100 on the 460 hill. That big hill.
It's easy to do. Right before you get into Blacksburg?
Yep, that's it. You go. Well, before you go up, you start speeding up, and you go down. Hit about 90. Should I go to 100? About 100, then you go up and you slow on there.
Well, I hope there's no cops listening to this.
No.
It's not like you can really do anything to Skip now. It's been a few years removed from that, but
oh yeah,
I don't know if that means you have to start patrolling that more. You have to put them on alert.
Yeah, I might put them on alert. Then they might be sitting in the corner. I mean, if I was sitting in the corner, they say they're going 100 miles per hour. They can't be doing that. Sit in the corner over here.
You're tipping them off, Skip, so I hope you don't get anybody in trouble there.
Well, you should be going to speed limit anyway, so.
There you go.
If you're going 100, you're taking a chance.
Do what Skip says, not what he does. Well, Skip, I want to tell you, buddy, and this is our last podcast, obviously, for 2016. It's been a good year. I know it's been, there's had a lot of stuff going on in the country and the world in 2016, but as far as our little nook here and covering Virginia Tech sports, it's been a pretty good year. Obviously, Virginia Tech basketball is doing real well, the men and the women. Football is on the come up. Wrestling's good. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to look forward to with Virginia Tech sports. So it's been really cool covering everything this year. And Skip, I'm glad we've had you on, and looking forward to a happy and healthy 2017.
Yes, sir. I'm glad to be on, and it's been a real good experience for me. Real good time for me. Be talking to you and Doug and the deal to just talk about sports and Hokies, football, basketball, baseball, and whatever the case may be. So thank you for allowing me to be on here and just chat it up with you guys. So.
Well, and I like to think you're a big part of why we're on iHeartRadio, Skip. So I think you're an integral part to the VT Zone team, and I hope we can get Doug back on here to ring in 2017, right? I hate to do our first podcast 2017 and not have all three of us on here. So hopefully we can get Doug back on then. Hopefully he'll be done, in all his travels, and I can't remember if he's out of the country now or not, but I know he's been all over the place, and hopefully we can get everybody back on here. So, Skip, like I said, another good podcast, another good year. I'm glad we're over on Scout.com now. So lots of coverage coming. Max and I will be down at the Belk Bowl. I'll be covering of course, the two games this week, UMBC and then Duke on Saturday. If you can't be in a sold-out Castle, check with us. We'll have all kinds of updates throughout that game. So for Derrick, Skip, Hopkins, I'm Jason Stamm. Thank you for listening to another edition of the VTZone.com Scoutcast, and we'll see you back here next week.